So this is the fat loss pyramid. And in essence, when it comes to fat loss, at the bottom of the pyramid are your bigger, more foundational elements. And then as you move up the pyramid, the importance decreases. And I think this illustration is important because a lot of people major in the minor when it comes to fat loss, meaning they spend a lot of their time and their energy on behaviors and techniques that might not have the biggest carryover to long-term sustainable fat loss. So I got this from a guy named Eric Helms. He's a fitness guru in the industry. And I really like it because number one is sustainability and adherence. So regardless of the techniques that you decide to use, regardless of what you were doing, you have to be able to sustain and adhere to those behaviors. And I think most people get that and understand the importance of sustainability. But I also think most people underestimate what sustainability looks like. In a lot of cases, sustainability is a multiple year long process when it comes to long-term successful fat loss. So ask yourself two questions before you start a trend or a certain tactic. How long are you going to be able to do it for, realistically? And then what's going to happen to the results that you get from doing it if you stop? And I think that carries more importance than anything else, because if you are unsuccessful with being able to sustain or adhere to your behaviors, then you're not going to be successful in losing fat. Number two is the caloric deficit, and I probably would have sustainability and adherence as 1A and the caloric deficit as 1B, because from a physiological standpoint, you won't lose weight and or fat if you're not in a caloric deficit. I mean, that's just how it works. If you have questions about what a caloric deficit is or what it looks like for you, or how you evolve your caloric deficit as you lose weight, because that's an important topic, then go ahead and just shoot me a message and we can dive into that in more detail. But number one and number two, they kind of go together, but sustainability and adherence with a caloric deficit. Then on top of that, we got exercise and self-monitoring. From an exercise standpoint, we've talked about it before. Exercise is not the most direct way to lose weight or fat. However, there are a lot of other benefits that exercise brings. For example, people that follow an exercise program tend to be more dialed in on their fitness as a whole. So they're more likely to focus on their nutritional behaviors. Exercise can help you regulate your hunger, which is a super big pro when it comes to your fat loss journey. And then take it a step further. Exercise in the form of resistance training can help you build and maintain your muscle. And if you are in a caloric deficit, and if you are sustaining that caloric deficit, then you're going to lose weight. And ideally, that weight is in the form of fat. So if we are able to exercise and even more so follow a progressive resistance training protocol, then the weight that we will lose from our caloric deficit will be in the form of fat. You'll look better, you will feel better, you'll perform better. So exercise comes in at number three. Then above that, self-monitoring. And I think this is a unique one. I think people underestimate the importance of self-monitoring as well. Self-monitoring can be a multitude of things. You can monitor your body weight by weighing in on a scale. You can monitor your calories by tracking your calories. You can monitor how many fruits and vegetables you're having each day. You can monitor your protein or your fiber intake. But what gets measured gets improved. So if you're measuring something, then there's a far higher likelihood that you're going to improve that. But take that a step further too. I think by self-monitoring, you're committing yourself deeper into the process. So as opposed to just kind of going off feel, going off vibes, you're locking in a little bit more. You're recording. You're taking that extra time and energy, which it does require, to monitor some piece of data in your fat loss journey. And by doing that, you're committing yourself more to the process. So I think from a psychological standpoint, self-monitoring has a lot to offer. So I think 1 through 4 are the most important. So if you were going to build a fat loss program for yourself right now, sustainability and adherence is number one. You have to have that. It won't be successful if you don't. Caloric deficit is number 2. Again, in order to lose weight / fat, you have to be in a caloric deficit. And then exercise and self-monitoring are going to be the next 2 pieces to that puzzle that will help. 5, 6, and 7, I think there's a decent drop-off. We have protein and fiber intake, which definitely has validity to fat loss, because protein and fiber is going to help you feel fuller longer, which is going to help you maintain and adhere to your caloric deficit. It's going to be make it easier to achieve. Fiber intake is one of the most important things when it comes to just overall health as a whole. And when we talk about the lean body mass in the form of muscle and making sure that the weight that we are losing is fat, protein intake is going to help support and build our muscle mass. So don't get me wrong, I definitely think protein and fiber intake are important, but I think we are starting to get more into the nitty gritty when we look at number 5, 6, and 7. Carbs and fat macros comes in number 6. I think this one is a little bit more person to person. Carbs obviously have a huge role in your exercise and your energy levels and your performance. I think a lot of people associate fat loss with eliminating carbs. So I definitely want to make that clear that I do not think that that is the best way to go when it comes to long-term sustainable fat loss. And then number 7, the least important in my eyes is, and in this graphic, is supplements. And I'll take it even a step further, supplements and other modalities. So again, when we talk about majoring in the minor, this is where I think a lot of people waste their energy and their resources and their time, is by trying to find that next thing that's going to help them take the next step when it comes to adding a supplement or some form of modality. I mean, you name it. I think we should have 1 through 4 completely dialed in before that. And then if you want to start adding in some form of supplementation, because there is a place for it, then that can come next. But again, if you are embarking on a fat loss journey, your biggest bang for your buck and the by far most important things that you should focus on is, can you sustain your behaviors that you're doing? Are you able to live in a caloric deficit on a day-to-day basis? Are you following a sustainable, progressive exercise program that promotes resistance training, promotes cardiovascular training? And are you monitoring some factor in your fat loss journey, whether that's tracking your calories, tracking your body weight, tracking your fruits and vegetables, just something that forces you to take that next level of accountability. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me a message. If this sparks some excitement or inspiration on wanting to start a new journey or dive a little bit deeper into your current journey, then again, go ahead and shoot me a message.